In. We're recording. I did do a countdown, but I just pressed the button as I was like recording. In.
That's becoming that sound you say recording is becoming like ingrained in my head as it's like a brain memory replay over and over.
Oh yeah.
Okay, this week is probably the least prepared week we've ever done because I think we've had one small messenger paragraph about this whole thing. So
that's all right because I think we've done our own preparation.
I'm in my dressing gown. I'm in fucking like comfy mode. Got a week off work.
Live it up. Live it up.
In my dressing gown at home, so I can't leave the house. I will do.
It's such a nice excuse. That's a silver lining to the whole thing.
It is, except I was in isolation for 10 days. So in the last 19 days, I've worked 2 and had 17 off. So
got some making up to do, maybe, in the eyes
of the
working gods.
No housekeeping because you viewers can do it. No, at least you viewers can correct this.
In other words, I'll put it more eloquently, or I try to. I probably won't. But like, we never had anybody correct us on anything last week, so presumably there was nothing to correct us on, and we were on a roll, and everything was on point. So, no corrections.
No corrections. And on to the news. 3 pieces this week. Hitman was released this week.
Hitman 3,
which I bought and I'm playing through. I think I'm up to the very end now. Didn't even know it was getting released. It was only 2 days before I saw an advert on the games on the store. I was like, oh shit, checked it out. I think you're aware of this. There's been a I don't think we mentioned this last week about Ubisoft and the Star Wars game has been announced.
Yes. And do we know more? Do we know any more about that?
We don't know anything more about the Ubisoft Star Wars game. However, piece of news number 3, which is, I think I've only seen it today, which I don't think you're aware of.
Yeah.
There are very strong rumors, very strong from multiple sources, that KOTOR 3 is in development.
So I feel like I heard that somewhere, but no, I definitely didn't know that. I didn't know that, but I feel like I got wind of that. So Knights of the Republic 3.
Yeah.
And it's not. It is 3 then. So who's developing, or who's rumored?
Nobody knows. Like there's been a lot of rumors about it from separate people saying this is in development, blah blah blah. But it sounds like from the comment I heard, it was something like, this person didn't say who's developing it, but it would be quite a surprise, or like the people guessing wouldn't get it, as if it's somebody out of left field. It's not EA.
I put it this way, right? I think it'd be a name that we're not all familiar with. I'm going to put my drink somewhere else because I keep leaning down, and that might just be quite distracting.
Oh, Star Wars.
I think, right, that from what I understand, because it used to be BioWare. Am I correct in thinking that?
I don't know. I'll be honest. I
believe it was BioWare. I believe it was BioWare. And I'm going to get up some Knights of the Republic now. So, from what I understand, the BioWare that made Knights of the Republic 1 and 2.
We'll never guess what studio is developing a new Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic game. That's the headline when I type KOTOR.
Oh, KOTOR. There we go, KOTOR. So for instance, number 2, Sith Lords. Right, now this was developed by Obsidian.
Where did you say that? I developed Obsidian. Oh, okay.
I didn't know that. In my head, I had BioWare. But that's interesting because
I feel like they're both on the same kind of level. They've both got a bit of name recognition, and they're not AAA.
I feel like BioWare has moved into the AAA stratosphere, or even AAA sphere.
Were they Mass Effect?
Yeah, they were. So I feel like BioWare are very AAA.
Yeah.
But there's a funny line in one of the old Oh, I can't remember the comedian's name from that. He's that comedian, Andy Sandberg, and he's got like with his. Have you ever heard any of his music that he used to do?
No.
Okay, so he did a lot of comedy music, and he also did a few films. And what's that cop show? That cop comedy? I've not watched it. But
Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, right?
Good, it's good.
So yeah, well, if you like that, you'll like anything he's
Oh,
done.
look, more Star Wars stuff I've just found.
Star Wars merch.
Vader.
Can't get enough of this merch.
There's also a lightsaber up there as well.
We've seen the lightsabers. Oh, I have to get these lightsabers out actually at some point because we still.
I don't think we've seen them actually.
Yeah, I've seen them, but the world needs to see them. So before we get too tangentized, there's a funny line that Andy Samberg talks about in one of his movies, which I cannot remember for the life of me what it's called, but he's like a stuntman wannabe, I think. And he talks about I can't remember the exact sequence of it, but it's like, I got legit, I was too legit, I had to quit, and I was so legit, or something. It's like a funny little thing. And that's what I feel about BioWare, right? Because they were like legit with Mass Effect 1 and 2. Mass Effect 2 is like I think everybody agrees that I've played it, that's a good game. I like all of them. But when you get to Andromeda, it's not, I think it's actually good, but anyone who says it's not good, that there's an argument to be had there, and it's kind of a fair argument. And
I'm amazed. This is episode 8. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is 8. And that's the first time your Mr. Contrarian persona has reared its head, which is amazing.
Show me, tell me, how?
Well, normally, if everybody thinks something's good, you think it's bad. If they think it's bad, you think it's good. Case in point, Andromeda. I've heard nothing but bad things about Andromeda.
Okay, so Andromeda, right, had a real horrible start, like some other games we've mentioned in recent.
Just confirm, that was the one that had the really bad face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's go on.
So those faces have actually been changed, from what I understand, right? But the actual, when you go on there and play, you can do. There's a multiplayer like survival, like horde mode, like survivor, right? And like it is genuinely fun, badass, third-person cover shooting. I fucking love cover shooting, and I fucking love
space,
you do. And I love space cover shooting. And if you chuck a cool space suit with like thruster packs and shit inside of that, then I can't get enough. If you chuck in pistol-sized grenade launchers with bullet-sized grenades that explode when you want them to, then I'm so in. It's not even funny, right? This game is actually sick.
That was really. Is that like a feature of Andromeda, or is that just a really specific thing you want?
That is in Andromeda. That is a weapon in Andromeda. That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite weapons in Andromeda. It sticks to them, sticky grenades. You shoot them. It looks like a little circular kind of disc. It's like, and it sticks to them, bang, and it blows up when you want it to. Incredible weaponry. The music in Mass Effect has always been good. It's all right in Andromeda from what I remember, but some of the visuals in Andromeda are still incredible with regards to the landscape, and just I've taken some sweet screenshots when playing through. But my point being, to really pull myself back, is that Andromeda, it definitely doesn't quite feel like, it doesn't feel legit. It doesn't feel legit. Yeah, it doesn't feel AAA. No, and that is kind of why I was like, I thought of the old Andy Samberg quote that the whole kind of too legit got so legit they had to quickly.
By the way, yeah. Speaking of that, are you thinking the film Popstar Never Stop, Never Stopping?
No, not that.
It sounds like that would come from that film.
No, it's definitely Andy Samberg, and it's like I'll have to look up.
It does sound like Andy. He's sort of pigeonholed into this parody of himself nowadays.
Yeah, I know. He is, mate. He's so funny. Like that's pretty much what his band was. Who I can't remember. What were they called? I
didn't know he had this kind of career before Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Mate, this like took me by storm a few years ago. It took, like when I came across this comedy music. After this, I'll send you all this comedy music. I mean, I should bring up some now just to highlight it, but maybe I will throughout the thing. But some of his comedy music, and the album was called Incredibad. I can't think of what they were called, but I know that the album was called Incredibad, and I might as well bring it up on screen. Oh, I know I won't do that now. Do I? Yeah, Andy Samberg. So
you're a hoot.
Here he is, Andy Samberg. He's also a musician.
It's that one in the middle that looks so out of place compared to the rest of those photos.
Yeah. The Lonely Island.
That does ring a bell.
They've got so much funny music, man. Like, these guys were hilarious. Did the Lonely Island break up? So we find out after over a decade of service to comedy and music, after 2 films that their fans failed to go and see, the Lonely Island released Popstar, a send-up of Popstar culture. So is that what you were talking about? Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stop?
I think it is, yeah.
I think that is, yeah. So they're really funny on a tangent. They're really, 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 really funny. Knights of the Republic. The thing about Knights of the Republic.
Yeah.
So BioWare now are not the same BioWare that they were. And what I'm hoping is because apparently they're very fractured from the original people that made, not BioWare, sorry, even though I was thinking about BioWare. Obsidian, I don't know if Obsidian, like BioWare, are fractured now. I don't know if they're the same Obsidian that they were, but they're not very good.
I don't think it's Obsidian.
Yeah, that was what I was leading to as well, because otherwise they wouldn't have highlighted that headline, like, you're never going to believe, unless it's like a little swerve and it's like, you're never going to believe it's Obsidian again.
I can't help but think those people in charge of the rights would have looked at what happened with EA and thought, that was a fucking train wreck, and been a bit more scrutinous over who they allowed to make games.
What you think Battlefront, did you say?
Well, yeah, when you look at the first Battlefront was devoid of content. I just dropped my pen. The second Battlefront was microtransaction heavy and came in for a lot of stick, and it took a lot of work to get it up to a decent standard. So, and now if Disney had thought EA had done a good job, they may well have increased their exclusivity deal, and they didn't. So
I feel like who makes? I tell you, if we're looking for clues, the Old Republic. Who makes that?
That's not. Is it? Oh, is it? I thought they were just all. Is that what would be referred to as KOTOR?
No.
So what? KOTOR and the Old Republic are separate games.
Definitely, because the
Knights of the Old Republic and the Old Republic are different.
Yeah. So the old Star Wars: The Old Republic is an MMO. And
yeah, which is what I didn't really like it that much.
I played very little on it on a very underpowered laptop some years ago.
The game was released in 2008. This feels like a 1998 game.
What game are you? What game are you saying? Like the Old Republic? Because I've seen 2011 here. Oh yeah. Game was announced on 2008, but it was.
Wait, it was released in fucking hell. It looks terrible for 2011.
So what are you looking at?
The fucking Old Republic.
2011.
Like, that doesn't look like a 2011 game.
Do you not think so? Are you looking at different pictures to me?
I'm looking at the pictures on your screen share.
Oh,
I'm
blocking off.
9 years old. Fucking Grand Theft Auto 5 came out 2 years after that.
I'm thinking for like 10 years old. This looks pretty good. Does it?
So that was a what? That was more of a. That wasn't an MMO.
So this was an MMO, yeah.
It was. So was KOTOR.
No, KOTOR not. No. KOTOR, we're talking like 2000, 2003 time.
That's what I was thinking of. I didn't realize the Old Republic was so more recent than that.
Oh yeah, the Old Republic.
That's why the graphics look crap, because MMOs always have iffy graphics.
Yeah, I mean MMO. I wouldn't say always, but yeah, like MMOs you don't really put like on the looks.
Yeah, they're not.
They're not going to be up there with, your Mass Effects original. Well, that's a bad example.
I know what you mean. I'm pretty sure anyone watching this will know what you mean, except maybe my mum. Hi, Mum.
Hello, Chris's mum. What we mean, I'm trying to think of a better AAA game, but yeah, your Battlefronts. It's not going to look like Battlefront.
No.
Which is why we have our Battlefront.
Yeah, nothing's been confirmed yet, but there are a stream of strong rumors that KOTOR 3 is out, or not out, is in development.
I'm all in. I'm all in. I'm so hard
I,
all
I
in.
I don't know. It depends what they're going. Are they going to do another MMO? Because I wasn't a fan of
No,
the.
it won't be an
Uh,
MMO. If they're talking Kotar, it will definitely be like, um, it'd be like, I want to say the original Mass Effects, but not because
branching stories, customization, exploration. I was having this conversation with a friend earlier, and he was describing No Man's Sky like the ability to physically fly yourself to multiple planets,
yeah,
which I think would be quite cool.
I would love that.
Just-
Like,
I
give
don't,
me a little
I
bit of
don't know.
space in between.
I don't know how realistic that is because it's hard enough to do a game like Cyberpunk with enough detail, graphics, reasons to split that across several planets. I don't know how
Hey,
easy that would be.
I am all about. I am all about. Uh, not dumbing. That's the wrong word, but like,
Condensing.
um, simplicity. Less is more in games, right? I think we have hit a point now in games where graphics or the expectation of graphics are so good, right? Or the expectation of graphics should be so good that sometimes I think developers forget that they're making a game and they try to make something else. Like,
Visual.
yeah, like I mean, like, or maybe like an experience is a word that the industry throws around a lot. And like, and I was talking about this the other week where I said you've got a game and you've got an experience, and I think that there are places for both. For example, if I want to race you in two, if I want to race a Ford Focus versus a Vauxhall Astra, I want to race you. I want it to be as realistic as possible. So
I
I'm
mean,
not gonna.
they're both quite cheap cars. We can go and get one tomorrow if you fancy a bit of a drift around Bristol.
I've got a Vauxhall and an Astra. You can come round and you can jump in one of them, and I'll take the other. So but I love that. Like, I love like those level cars. I like not necessarily family cars, but like I like everyday cars, but like souped up. So
Yeah.
like I'm big on that, and that's what I
High
do.
end everyday cars.
Like, well, like, yeah, like Forza, right? The first thing I do is I go and buy like the first thing I do is I go buy a Honda S2000, but then what I do is I usually go and buy like a Mark One at Mazda, or a Ford Focus, and I do it up, but I'll only do it up to like B class. I don't want it to be like supercharged, crazy over the top. I just want it to be really quick on like a road. So when you race these cars, it feels so good. And if I want to race you on that, like the difference between a Ford Focus and a Honda S2000 when you're driving them around is night and day. Like, they feel like almost different vehicles. That's how different they feel. So one being rear wheel drive, one being front wheel drive. The difference is so noticeable on Forza 7. Like, have you ever driven a rear wheel in real life?
What?
A rear wheel drive.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. So if you ever drive one on a rainy day, you'll fucking know about it. Like, because you're very off steady, and it's understeer versus oversteer, isn't it? So it's the difference between your back end flying out into a wall or your front end flying out into a wall, or you just staying straight basically. So Forza gives me all of that I'm talking about. Gives me all of that. I'm not going to go if I want to race you in a proper serious race. I'm not going to go to something like Grand Theft Auto Need for Speed unless I want something more arcadey, or more
Yeah.
wild. But if I want like a serious race, I'm going to go to that. So that's where I like to have my realistic graphics. So if I'm doing something else, like especially like Star Wars or like fantastical, I don't mind if things don't necessarily look super realistic. I'm quite happy for them to be pulled back a little bit.
Sacrificing graphics for improved gameplay is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, all day long. And like, sometimes you can have the best of both. So Battlefront 2, like, graphically is incredible, I think. And it doesn't need to look any better, and it doesn't need to play much better, to be honest, if any.
Well,
Like, that's like a really solid game. But then when you've got like Fallen Order, for example, I was not a fan of that. If they wanted to bring that back and even make it look, and I'm just picking it, I'd rather it look like something else, but even if they want to make it look like Clone Wars, right? And then you could make the game better and more solid for that. I bet so many people would disagree with me on that, because so many people think Fallen Order is like a sick game, and I just don't think it
honestly,
is.
I think it's more of a case of it's it's one of the only story-based Star Wars games we've had in. I literally Force Unleashed Xbox 360.
Yeah.
That's the last story-based game. So it's more of a it might only be this good, but it's been so long since we've had a good one. It feels better.
Suppose, man. I just
It didn't like you used to say about Battlefront 2. Jedi Fallen Order didn't feel Star Warsy.
didn't. No, it didn't.
It had Vader. It still didn't feel great.
It didn't feel
I
great.
didn't. Yeah, I didn't feel like I was in a Star Wars world. It just felt like I was going through the motions of a action adventure game.
Yeah, I felt. Yeah, it was just. Yeah, not a fan. So, do we have any more news?
That's it. Star
Okay.
Wars and Hitman.
So, Star Wars and Hitman was the news. There was something that kind of came up then that I thought I might touch on, but I forgot it. So maybe we'll go to another time. I felt like there was something that came up then, a game or something that I want to talk about. Oh, it was going to be Monster Hunter Stories, but I'm going to park that for a bit. Actually, no, I will say this about Monster Hunter Stories. I didn't even realize it, but I'm about 10 or 11 hours into Monster Hunter Stories without even realizing, like, very much like Monster Hunter.
It gets not good. The time just ebbs away without you knowing.
Like, I've never seen a game transition so perfectly and incredibly well into a different type of game. So it's like when we were like playing Monster Hunter initially, and I was like, we were like, it's kind of like Pokemon, but like kind of from this different, violent, more real time perspective. And the more I play Monster Hunter, the more I realize that. And then I'm playing Monster Hunter Stories, and it's like, this is fucking Pokemon so bad. And not only is it Pokemon in like a really good way, but it does things that I wish I could do in Pokemon. For example, you fight as the rider, stroke the trainer, as like alongside your monstie, as they're called, right? You fight alongside him, so you're fighting as well, and like you unlock special moves and shit for the rider and the monster, and like some of these moves are fucking incredible, and they're taking me by surprise. There's this whole
It's a DS game, right?
It's a 3DS game. It's fucking incredible, man. Like the fighting is turntable, and at the core you've got this paper rock scissors mechanic, speed, power, and technical moves. Technical beats speed, speed beats power, power beats technical, right? So you've got those, and each monster they have patterns of attacking. So it'd be like one of those moves, it might be like power, then speed, then they'll use like one of their special moves, and then repeat, or they might do something else. And of course, while stuff's going back and forth in that, you might even forget, like, they're showing you the patterns, and it's just up to you to kind of fall into them. That works mentally almost identically to the way to the Monster Hunter world.
Yeah. I was just thinking that.
It is incredible how well this works. And it's like, so sometimes in Monster Hunter World, they jump up to do the fucking dive, but you forgot they did the dive and actually they're going to go for the splash, the electric splash or something, and then you don't dive out the way or you block instead. You're like, oh shit.
That's the, what's it called? The, Toby Kadashi.
I was actually thinking of I think it's the young Garuga, who's this really nasty, big beak son of a bitch, but he didn't have electric. I was thinking of Toby Kadachi, sorry, for the moves.
Jumps up and stretches out and electrocutes you and then just flops on the ground.
Yeah, for the moves I was thinking that, but in my head I was picturing a young Garuga for some reason. And I just love it.
Does Monster Hunter count as a JRPG or not?
That is a really good question.
Because it doesn't scream Western to me.
Oh no, it's full blown Japanese, full blown. Like if you're talking Monster Hunter, right? Like that is a full on Japanese game with no ifs or buts. But when you're talking Japanese role playing game, I mean, I guess it's an RPG, but it's kind of been like there's kind of this new genre of game that exists now, and it's not an MMO, it's not quite an RPG. It's not like an action. I guess I'd call Monster Hunter an action adventure multiplayer. No, I don't even like that actually. But it is that though. The thing I mentioned when we were playing a couple of days or weeks ago that I really love, like you do have little bad guys, but I love the fact that we're out there, bang, we're hunting a monster. It's not like let's go through all these little minions and then fight the boss at the end.
It's very straight to the point.
Yeah, let's just go hunt this fucking thing. And it really does feel like hunting. And now with this Guiding Lands expansion on the end, you to get certain monsters, you have to lure certain monsters out. So it's like, right, I need this, or I know I need this to like level up this region. I need to kill like an ebony odegron or something. So you'll have to go kill something else to like create a lure to lure it out, and then it comes out, and it's like, so there's this next level of like hunting when you get into the guiding lands and shit. Just to come back to Monster Hunter Stories real quickly, because there's not much more that I know because I'm so early in the game, but this game is so fucking like satisfying to play. And the other day I was umming and ahhing, like what to play. I was like, should I put Monster Hunter World on? Should I put DS on? Should I watch something instead? And I went with Monster Hunter Stories. And like the second I put it on, I was like, I've made the totally right decision. I was like, I was like, this is totally the right thing to do. I felt so comfortable instantly. And then like all the sound effects they use from like some of the other Monster Hunter games. So every time you pick something up, it's just like this little dopamine like effect in your head. It's like, oh, that was satisfying. Oh, I just got a new herb. Oh, I just got another herb. That is so, it's so addictive, but like it's so satisfying. And like we've watched in that review.
Like an aroused botanist.
Oh mate, yeah, totally. That is what I am in that game. So what I love most about it is like nothing feels like a grind. Like I do not have to grind, but these nests come up everywhere, right? And when you find a nest, they come up all the time. You can't miss them. When you go in a nest, you get like a little mini level, and then on the other end of that level is an egg, like where you get the egg. There might be a monster there which you can try and sneak around or fight. But then when you get there, also another way to get there is if you see a monster out in the wild and you hit it with a certain thing called a paint berry, it will run away to its cave like they do in Monster Hunter. Or if you beat them up enough, they just run away to their cave. When you go into their cave, if they're sleeping, you don't even need to kill them because you want really what you want. They've led you to their eggs.
Oh yeah.
And you want to try and, I mean, you're welcome to fight them and kill them again, but really what you want is their eggs. You can go and get because you've won the battle, you've got XP for it. You know, you don't have to kill the monsters to love. Go get the eggs. And then as you're searching for the eggs, different patterns, different colors, different designs mean different eggs. So when you go back to hatch them, and you might have like 8 on you, not that many, yeah, I've had like 3 or 4. It is so like, oh, what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? And then when you get something good, it's just like, yeah, it's so, oh mate, they've taken everything that wasn't in Monster Hunter, like main games. They've combined it with Pokemon. They've made one of my favorite fucking games like in years, and I just love it. I love it, and I think anyone who likes Pokemon and Monster Hunter World would like just, you don't understand how good this is. And it's on Android, so have a check it out. It's like £4 on Android. It's so good, and they've actually upped it on Android, so you can save at any point, better graphics. Oh mate, it's incredible. So that's Monster Hunter World Stories for now, and I'm only 10 hours in. I've got so much to do, and I love it. But that is
What's the TV show you're watching?
the TV show Attack on Titan.
No, the Monster Hunter one.
Oh, Monster Hunter Stories. Ride On.
Ride On.
Oh, watch it. I love it. I actually love it.
How much you say Monster Hunter Stories was?
Oh, the game.
Yeah.
On Google Play, I checked it like £3 something.
£2.
£3 something.
You're wrong.
What is it?
1999.
Oh, really?
Monster Hunter Stories, 1999.
Mate, I could have swore it was like £4. Maybe it was on offer when I checked.
It does look exactly like Pokemon Mind.
It's so good, mate.
The graphics, the layout, the map. I've seen 3 images, but it does look very Pokemon-y.
And like from the Pokemon games I've played, right, this is more Pokemon-y than most Pokemon games are. Like, you know, like when we're talking about.
It evolves so much, you become a shadow of your former self.
Yeah. Keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it, and even if check out some Let's Plays, man, what a game. And there's going to be a few other like great, like over the coming weeks, there'll be some wacky games I talk about because I have. I have a Nintendo 3DS with a lot of games, and that I bought from friends. And some of these games are like the obscure Japanese games that I love. One of them is called Project X Zone, but I will talk about another day because I am so early into Project X Zone that I don't speak about it yet. But mate, that is so exciting. But yeah, that's Monster Hunter. That's Monster Hunter Stories. I fucking love it so much. And I think like I didn't really touch on the Capcom elements, but I'll leave that for the moment. But yeah, I think I want to know. I think everyone wants to know. WandaVision. Let's talk episodes. Let's talk. Let's talk spoilers. So if you're watching, what do you think? Spoiler or spoiler free?
I mean,
I think spoiler.
I mean that's my point. Like there will be thing. I will say things that are considered spoilers, but there's nothing that would spoil it. Like there's nothing massive which goes, oh shit, that means this and this means that, and oh my god, there's nothing that you couldn't have pieced together from the trailers.
So let me ask you this: is it like a full-blown sitcom, like that picture would suggest?
There are each episode is based off a different decade of comedy. I think it started in the 70s. It's off things like the Dick Van Dyke Show, Charmed. It's the first few episodes have all been off a different sitcom, which are moving through the generations. I think the last one isn't that picture there. It's the bottom left one where she's like bent over. That one. That's the latest episode where she gets pregnant. I mean, spoilers, she gets pregnant.
So she gets pregnant, and this is so. What is this? So is it like, are they trapped in some kind? What? Let's go back. Let's go back. But before WandaVision, let's go back to the end. When was the last time we saw Vision in the Avengers, in the MCU? Before this,
Infinity War, when he got his head ripped out by Thanos.
That's what I thought. So what
Yep.
happens to Vision after that moment?
That the last moment we see of him is his dead grey body after Thanos tosses him aside.
And
That's
there's
the
not been
last
any.
we see of him before this.
Right. So there's been no visual indicator or anything. And I'm sure you've seen New Rock Stars and looked for breakdowns and mentions of this thing.
I've done my research.
I'm going to watch some New Rock Stars tonight. I'm really feeling that at the moment, actually.
I see research as if it's for this. I just enjoy them.
Yeah.
So nobody knows what Vision. Like we don't know how, we don't know why. Basically, the premise is that there is in New York, because there's a phone number and the phone number is of New York. There's a small town which has a force field-ish domey type thing around it.
Yeah.
Everything inside it has been, this is all we know from season 3, episode 3. All the stuff inside it is being controlled and manipulated by something. The assumption is Wanda because she's so powerful, but there's people on the outside trying to get in, and when they succeed, the time is rewound or rewritten so that person doesn't get in.
So they are then trapped.
Yes, but we don't know whether Wanda has trapped everybody in it or whether, because the theory is she is being trapped by somebody in order to try and drain her of her powers. That's the predominant theory.
And that Vision isn't even there.
That has not actually been covered. My best guess is that she's not, he interacts with other people in the world, so it's not like he's in her head. So
you know what I think would be really disappointing? I think there was, did you ever see, I'm not even going to say the film now actually, because I just realized that if I say the film and you haven't seen it, I actually give you the ending. But like, I really hate it when stories or films, what was that? Truman, not Truman.
Okay.
But like when the twist or the outcome or how it's resolved is it was all in their heads, or nothing was real. Like,
wasn't that like a really crappy supermarket drama, like a English supermarket? No, it wasn't a supermarket. It was like a hotel. And at the very end of it all, she's like wakes up at a fucking checkout.
I've heard of that, but there's a few other things that's lame. That's
I remember
so bad.
I can't think what it was now.
Like, well, there's a film, and in the end, it's just like the way they do it in this film is really good. Like you can go
Just say what the bloody film is.
No, I'm not, because just in case I don't want to ruin it. But the way they do it is really good. But I'll say a few other films.
Island?
No. Oh my god, that film sucked. Oh my god. What was the name of that film again? Sorry, because I missed the first bit as you said it, but I think I know what you're on about. The Leonardo DiCaprio one.
Island.
Is that Leo DiCaprio? Yeah. Martin
What?
Scorsese. I hate that. I hate that.
What?
Do you know why?
No.
Because it's all, and spoilers for everyone, it's all part of, because the reason I never want to give a spoiler in certain films is because I respect the film and I think it's a good story. And although somebody might not care about the spoiler, I feel like it's a disservice to the movie. And
What is that? Okay, spoilers are coming. Like, I watched the movie knowing the ending.
And so were you looking out for these things as you went through then?
I was looking out for thinking, well, if he is as suspected as the spoiler suggests, how is this working? What is his mind doing? And even though I knew the big spoiler about his personal life and why he was there, I still had never guessed that what was happening around him was on the orders of somebody else.
I think it was a really goofy thought experiment that had to be made into a movie. Everything I've got, like, I like to think that everything has to be made into a movie at least once. You have to try any wacky idea to see how and if it gets over.
Works, yeah.
And I agree with that. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. For me, that didn't work. But it felt like they'd come up with an idea in an idea meeting at some point where it's like, oh, could you imagine if we did a whole film where the twist, like, or someone thought about the twist and they worked the film backwards. Oh, the twist is that the guy investigating the patient is a patient or whatever it was. And it's like, then they've worked their way back from that, you know?
I liked it.
The thing that was bullshit for me is we're talking about, because this is why. Because in the era of this movie, like, I can't remember what the year is specifically, but it's like a cold, hard world in most of Scorsese's movies. When you see Scorsese on the poster, you're thinking this is gritty, this is like gangster, this is like hard man, you know, like tough guys. And this whole thing is about like healthcare and like how we are going to go so far out of our way, even in danger of the lives of our guards and staff members and other patients, to try this experimental procedure where we effectively put a gun in his hands, and he walks around like he's a copper with all the copper's rights, and everybody's got to play along. So the fucking cleaners come in. Oh, hello, Jill. You in for your fucking 3 till 4 shift, are you? Oh, just remember that prisoner 55622 will be walking around the premises. He will be armed, but it's okay. We're trying to fuck off. It's so the measure. Go on.
I think that's a believable concept.
I think it's so far removed from believability that, like, if I'd known before I'd watched it, I couldn't have sit through it because I'd been like, ha, ha, ha. And then when I got to the end and you do your little mental flashback, your little mental Rolodex of all the scenes, you're like, this film is fucking dumb. You know, like, I hate that shit. Like, don't try and act clever because you didn't give me the tools to figure out your little thing.
I think it's believable in the sense that there are some weird in the history of the world. There have been some weird attempts at medical fixes for mental people, for mental and physical issues. I think it's very possible that something like that could have happened in real life at some point.
I think what would have been a more interesting take, and it's just for me, is if the film starts prior to this process and we are privy to it through the eyes of the staff. And they're like, we're going to try this absolutely crazy thing. And the whole time you're there watching over the shoulders of the staff while they shit their pants as Leo DiCaprio walks through the thing. And they're all just like, oh my God, it's so fucking scary. That would be funnier. And like it's kind of like
he's got a fucking gun, Jill. He's got a fucking gun.
Yeah.
Like, what the fucking floor? The mental fucker's got a gun, love.
It looked like you were doing something else to Jill there. So I think that's funny, and it also comes off kind of one of those elaborate pranks that Jim might play on Dwight in the office, but like they're doing it to like it's like kind of what Jim would do to Dwight if he had the funds, you know.
It's a bit excessive, but yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from.
Totally. So I feel that storyline is actually more at place in something like The Office than in some Martin Scorsese flick. But personally, it was not for me. Martin Scorsese, great director, but some of the films he's done, I'm just a little bit like.
I'll be honest, I legitimately don't know how we got here. What point?
Because
no,
I know why. I know why, because WandaVision, because I said, is it all going to be in their head, or is it all going to be in Wanda's head, and even to the point where Vision might not be there? And I said I hate it when certain shows do that. And there's one film which I didn't want to name which does it, and then every time it's used after that, where it's like, oh, it's all in my head, it's annoying. But I'm sure there's a few superhero stories where superheroes have been put in some kind of thought prison, or where they're actually like,
This is the thing. We know from episode 3 that it's not in our head, because you see somebody comes in. In your favorite MCU film, Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
She goes to visit that woman on her farm, and that woman on the farm has a daughter.
Yeah, I remember this.
His daughter grows up and becomes a agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Do you know what S.H.I.E.L.D. is? You know
of course I know what S.H.I.E.L.D. is.
No, I'll rephrase. S.W.O.R.D. Becomes a member of S.W.O.R.D. Do you know what S.W.O.R.D. is?
No, I couldn't tell you specifically. I've heard of them, but no.
Basically, if S.H.I.E.L.D. is on the Earth, S.W.O.R.D. does the intergalactical threats.
Cool.
So
yeah.
It's like a reform of. You see at the end of Spider-Man where Nick Fury is on that spaceship?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't seen that.
Nick Fury's on a spaceship, and it's long assumed that's like S.W.O.R.D's headquarters. Anyway, she's an agent of S.W.O.R.D. She goes in, and she assumes this character in all three in the last 2 episodes, and she's like. She's playing the part, but you can tell she's not entirely sure why she's there or how she got there. And then as it moves into the 3rd episode, she gets a bit more awareness of what's going on and starts mentioning questions. And she said about she knew about Ultron and the robot and her brother. And so Wanda's like, get to fuck, and pushes her with her magic outside of this bubble. So she then comes out of the bubble, and you can see into this place, which is called Westview. You can see into a very dark forestry area, and it's in that bubbly area.
Okay.
And that's the last part of the episode.
So then, also to come back to kind of the first question, do we have like a laughter track going? And as the episodes are playing out, it is like you are watching Big Bang Theory or
Oh
something.
God, yeah. It's a full on sitcom. It just changes the generation of sitcom to sort of get up to modern times.
So then I guess the other question I ask is in 2 ways. One, what is this show kind of getting at? Might be a weird way to phrase it, or like the
point.
Clearly the point is like, I feel, and I might correct me if I'm wrong, I feel that this is kind of what I was talking about just now with somebody. Like, if you have an idea, you have to try these wacky ideas, and someone's kind of said, how can we get an MCU sitcom, because that's a part of the market that has not been tapped yet, and this is what they come out with.
I don't think so. I think to do that, you would need to know. It would have to be an off the top of your head kind of thing. The one thing I think the MCU has always had going for it is they know where they want to go.
Yeah.
I I believe from Iron Man 1, the people in charge and Kevin Feige wanted to build a universe interconnected. So I feel this is a way of, because essentially Wanda lost her husband in Infinity War,
Yeah.
got dusted in Infinity War, comes back in Endgame, fights Thanos. This is the next MCU thing we've seen, or to the best of our knowledge, she is experiencing. Died, lost her husband, died, come back to life. That's it. She's still grieving. She's got all this mental crap going on. Half the world's disappeared and come back. So this is a grieving reaction by her, along with the. I don't know if you know what's his name, Mephisto.
I know the name. I can't put a picture or face to the name.
He's like the MCU's devil.
Oh yeah, Mephisto. Is he in? Yes. Yeah, I know of Mephisto.
And
so is that Mephisto?
No, that is. Oh God, who's that? That's bloody Ebony Moore from Ebony Moore from Infinity War. Anyway, the theory is Mephisto is somehow controlling Wanda, or at least directing Wanda, because in the comics, her kids come from him, and he uses her kids to drain her powers.
Right.
And there's been a few subtle little hints that Mephisto is going to play a role in this. From in the black and white episodes, the color red appeared very rarely, but it was always ominous, and it was always very vibrant. Okay. Like really vibrant red against the black and white. And then in episode 2, there was like a little meeting, and somebody said the devil's in the detail, and the person suspected of sort of being on the inside but working for Mephisto said something like what'd she say? That's not the only place he's in. So there's been loads of references to him, and we think Wanda's being controlled, and the whole point of this is, I don't know. It's a very out of left field thing to do, to watch.
Yeah, it feels like it. Like it's very hard to know what to make of all this. But the only other thing I would ask about it is how, like, so say you've got an episode, and presumably there's a storyline to that episode separate to the overarching bigger story.
Yeah, they all tend to be very sitcom episodes. Like episode 1, it's Vision's boss is coming over for dinner, so they've got to have a nice dinner and get ready, and all the shenanigans that go with that, because they don't know how to cook, because one's a robot and one's dead. The second episode is there's a fundraiser for the children, which was a really creepy phrase, because like they did an announcement like, this fundraiser for the children, and everyone in the episode just goes, for the children, and carries on. It's a fundraiser episode where they got to put on a magic show and stuff. And then the third episode is, oh shit, I got pregnant 12 hours ago, and the kids are coming in 3 hours. It was a bit of an accelerated pregnancy.
Yeah, so it definitely seems wacky off the wall, and like it does feel like they're trying to do something very different. I just hope it's not entirely for the sake. I hope it's not entirely just for the sake of being.
Oh look, that picture on the left in the middle there, that's the vibrant red against the black background.
Oh, here, yeah.
There's a red helicopter, a cut on someone's hand, and this ominous bleeping toaster. Every episode has had a very traditional, for the era, advert of a MCU reference. The first one was like a Stark toaster.
Yeah.
Obviously Tony Stark. The second one was a watch made by a Strucker watch. And if you don't know, Baron von Strucker was the guy in Age of Ultron who was performing experiments on Wanda.
Okay,
and the third one was some kind of Hydra product. So every advert has had like a little reference to an MCU past.
that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, quite cool. I think, as you say, this is a really mental thing to even watch alone. It's definitely playing a part in the MCU going forward. I just kind of hope there's some kind of
Like,
bridge between Endgame, Spider-Man, and this because it just feels so batshit.
yeah, hopefully it's not just a gimmick. And then, but lastly, on it, is it funny, or do you find it funny? That's like completely.
It's hard to say. Like there are sometimes you laugh. The sitcom stuff is a bit cheesy, but it's a sitcom. What do you expect?
Yeah,
Like they get married, and Vision picks up Wanda, and he floats through the door because he can, and she falls on her butt, and then everyone laughs. It's cheesy sitcom, but I think it's not there to be funny. It's
no,
there to be confusing, and it's there to plant seeds for what's coming.
okay, so that is interesting. I will try to watch it.
They're
I
only
think,
like 20 minutes each.
yeah, I should
I
try.
think that's what it's got going for it. It knows that it can't be too long.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
The
yeah,
MC,
we'll keep. I think next episode we'll like report back on whatever episode we are. Ideally,
there
one.
are there are 9 episodes, and the people who have a bit more information than the general public said it's like the first 3 episodes are the beginning, the middle 3 episodes are the middle, and the last 3 are the end. So we've had the setup. Now comes the bulk of the story. So this is where it should start to get a bit more interesting and a bit less sitcom-y, I think.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, if it needs to be what it needs to be. So what else did you have to speak about? And you mentioned Hitman 3. You think you're near the end? You look like you're gonna sneeze. Could sneeze.
Well,
So you think you're near the end? Hang on.
oh gosh,
Let me pause this. Let me pause this video because I don't know if that is like. Actually, I'll let it run. It's not like it's giving away much.
yeah, I've been thinking a lot about this game recently. So I've had several conversations with it. It's a very good game. There's like 6 missions, and it's like a full-priced game, but each mission can easily be replayed 6, 7, 8 times, depending on how you want to do it. Because with every mission, there's 30, 40 challenges, some
Yeah.
of which you can do in one playthrough, but you can't because you got to kill them 6 different ways. You can only kill them once. So it's a game which has a lot of replayability.
Yeah, I think that is the main thing. Like I said to you the other day, it's Groundhog Day meets American Psycho, or another film about killing. I say American Psycho because like I walk around in a suit on Hitman and use an axe usually, and like it always, even though it's amazing, the one thing that always kills me in every Hitman, and it's nature of the game, is when I have to take the suit off to put something else on. I do everything I can to keep that suit on.
There,
Like,
there are challenges, and I do believe you might even get achievements for doing suit only playthroughs of
yeah,
missions because they are possible.
because the game, what I love about Hitman, it's very slick. Like I've watched a little bit of Hitman 3, but it's very like I don't know the exact word.
Smooth?
No, not really. Like I'm trying to think of like it's like if they're doing a James Bond game, these are the guys that need to do it, kind of thing. Or like it's like James Bond. It's like Mission Impossible. I sometimes feel that like um and I say this about like I say this as well. Well, I remember when you go through a mission like in Hitman, I hate hate having to kill somebody who's not the target
Yep.
because it's like I'm not getting paid for that. You know what I mean? In Hitman, I fully am like I am getting paid to take out this person. This is the person that's going to die. And I think from like a kind of philosophical level, it cheapens your kill. It cheapens life
Oh god,
itself.
yeah.
It cheapens
I
life just to kill
I
everyone.
have
Pop, pop, pop.
I avoid on a serious playthrough, I avoid to the best of my ability killing anybody I do not have to kill.
I always
Because
remember. Yeah,
it makes
sorry.
you feel like you're not as good as you should be.
Big
Because
time.
like Agent 47, the bald guy, is like the pinnacle of assassins.
Yeah, he isn't killing people in desperation. Like, oh shit! Like, oh, I'm shitting myself. I've messed up. I got to kill him. No, no. Like,
They make you feel as good as he is. There's just a calming presence of just like, I'm the fucking best.
yeah,
And I was thinking this earlier, like they rebooted it, I think back in 2018, which I'm going to quickly Google now because that feels not long ago. And to have 3 games in 3 years is
I
quite
feel like it was
impressive.
a little bit before 2018 for the first one.
Um, I don't know because I'm sure it's all 2018 somewhere. Hitman reboot because it was done with IOI and Square Enix. If you didn't know, they did the first two,
When did
and
well, what IOI is the new name or is that a new company? Because weren't they
I
called
believe you know how like WWE worked with like there was 2 companies, then one left, so one was stuck to take over.
WWE?
Yeah, it was with Jax, and they worked with
Oh,
their own in-house company.
I think I may know some. Yeah,
Basically, I think Square Enix worked on it with IOI or IO Interactive, so IOI.
IO
Um,
Interactive.
3 of them, but then for the first 2, but then Square Enix left, so this is purely IOI.
So
26.
IOI, I was thinking of. I was trying to think of IO Interactive. I should have figured it out, but I couldn't remember the interactive bit. IOI, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it sound like the ICA from the
Yeah.
game. Like it makes it feel like it's
Yeah.
something. But I was thinking through all 3 games because the great thing this game does is from loading up Hitman 3, if you own Hitman 1 and 2, you have access to all their missions, but it's all done in the same seamless hub as if it was all one game.
So you
Which
say if you own it, or what if you don't own it? If you don't
I
own the
guess
original,
it wouldn't be an option on there because when I installed it, I then went onto the store and it saw that I had 1 and 2, so I installed them separately, but it all goes into the same hub.
I've got a feeling that you get 1 and 2 with it anyway.
You can if you buy the deluxe edition. And to be fair, for 75 quid, you get 3 full-blown games there. Admittedly, there's like 7 missions a game, but as I've said, they're very full of replayability. But the most intriguing part I've been thinking these last 2 days is I can play the very first mission of Hitman or up till the last mission of Hitman 3, and they play almost identical. And that's a span of 3 games with very little innovation.
Yeah.
But whereas I would beat Ubisoft with a stick for that, this game I don't have the same attitude because it's just so good. It's like they found a perfected formula and just kept it good.
From the small bits I've seen, it one thing that did feel like it's advanced because I've not played Hitman 2, but I've played the first Hitman reboot almost all the way through, and I think like one thing how can I phrase it? Like basically,
Quickly,
yeah. The level, like you say, a lot stayed the same, but the level felt like the one level I did see in this one felt like it had really kind of expanded. Like
that
they felt expansive and
yeah,
like sound and like echoes. So like, you've probably done the level. I'm not sure where it's set, but he's walking in and there's a guy speaking, and he goes up to the bar and you can hear this guy giving his speech, and the sound. And I was just watching on a YouTube video on my phone, but the sound of this guy speaking, giving his speech, echoed through the hall, and the sunlight was beaming through, and it looked so fucking beautiful. And I was like, "This is a step up." I was like, "This is a step up."
who is this? The third one?
Yeah. Maybe
Oh yeah, the Dubai level, the
it was
Dubai
Dubai.
one.
It was 100%
Yeah.
Dubai. 100%.
I feel like, having played all three, they feel similar, but there probably is progression. But when you grow with something, you don't see as much.
That's true. That's very
But
true. Yeah.
it's one of the reasons why these levels, there's only 6 of them, but they're designed so well. Like you've always said about Battlefront, it feels like Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah.
These worlds feel lived in. Things are always going on. You're always overhearing conversations, some of which you can take advantage of, some of which are just world building,
Yeah.
but they all feel so alive that sometimes it's just fun to go in them and just wander around and see what you can hear and see what's there. And they're fun to just be in without necessarily having to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I
There's,
definitely. Do you think that? So you're on the very last level now.
yes,
So you have that completed soon. Would you give it a grade now? Would you give it a rating out of 5?
I mean, it's probably a 4. Like I wouldn't give it a 5 because it's a very pigeonholed experience. You're a hitman, you're there to kill somebody. That's all the game is.
Mm.
But in terms of doing that, the options of doing it, the ways around it, the disguises, the in-world storylines to give you an advantage,
I think
the
out of 10
replay,
is. I think out of 10 is more. Is more. Is more.
probably probably an 8.5, quite
Oh,
high up there.
wow. Okay.
Because I really enjoy. I've replayed the same levels. Part of the reason I've not completed it yet is because I've played some of the levels 3 or 4 times.
That's
Because it's fun to go back. Because every time you do a level, you can unlock a new starting place or a new weapon, and it gives you the ability to go in and do it a different way.
the only thing I would want for Hitman. The only thing. Let me create my own character. That's the only thing. The only
Yeah, but
thing.
then you're not the hitman. You're a hitman.
I like that. I like not being like the legend. Don't give me that. Put that pressure on me. You know, like
This game makes you feel like a
that's a really good
fucking
point, though.
badass.
That was a really
Like
good point that you
the
mentioned.
way he's got like a signature pistol, as you can see on the screen there. And there are all these kinds of kills you can do. Some of my I did a mission. It's in Miami, it's sun shining, and it's a racetrack mission where you're meant to kill a father and daughter. Funnily enough, off point, I watched a video where you can kill them both in one go by kicking the dad off a ledge into the
How old
path.
is the daughter?
What?
How old's the daughter?
Oh, she's a race car driver. She's probably like 30 something.
Okay, because like the way you described it then was like a guy and his kid, and I was like, that's fucking horrendous.
But basically, you kick the dad off a ledge into the path of the daughter, who then runs him over and crashes, and they both die in one. But anyway, I picked up a didgeridoo, and I got caught, so I just started whacking people with a didgeridoo.
There's
That's it. That's my own point. The amount of executions and ways to kill people. You've got environments where you can shoot things or loosen things for a chandelier to fall on somebody,
like,
or
classic.
choke them with a fiber wire or your bare hands, or drown them, poison them. There might be something else in the world which would kill them if you put a certain pieces to the jigsaw.
Yeah.
And my favorite I found is just the pistol. Because you walk up behind somebody, you grab them around the mouth, 2 quick, silent shots in the back. It's
Love
so,
that.
so
Love
satisfying.
That.
Walk up.
And the that I love, and also in Hitman games, they've done it for a little while now. But if you're walking, you've got a gun in your hand. He just holds it behind him a little bit. Like he just like holds it behind it, and it's so gangster. Like so he's walking along, and he's just like he's such a badass. I might have to get this like at some point. I want to get all of them so I can play 1 to 3.
I say annoyingly enough, it's sort of a two-sided coin. Like it hasn't say, because there was a big issue with linking your accounts on day one. I wasn't able to link my account, so I've got no progress for the first 2 games, so they are essentially unplayed. So I've now got to replay the whole series again, and it's a bit annoying. But the more I think about it, the more I'm excited to go through these levels again because some of them are shit, but some of them are really fun.
So I've got two ideas then for the following podcast. I would like, if you're open to it, an episode report on Wandavision. So just like episode 4, this is what happened, and also a level by level report on Hitman 1 to 3.
That could take a while.
But again, we'll just explore levels. Like, so what do you like about Dubai? And we'll just talk about Dubai. And then, because I wanted to do that with Capcom and have a Capcom corner and talk about specific things in Capcom. And I was a little bit like worried because I didn't really have a specific thing pulled out. And if I don't have a specific thing written down that I want to speak about, then I'm going to go all over the place.
Yeah.
From Marvel to Mega Man to this to that to that. So I'll save that for this week anyway, because I think we've almost hit an hour now.
I would say, yeah, we at least an hour, possibly an hour 10.
At least an hour. So I leave that for today because the game I'm playing at the minute on 3DS, one of the games called Project X Zone, which I mentioned earlier. And
like X0 or EXO?
X Zone.
I misheard you.
Project X Zone is this game. Oh, I'm looking on Bing. How gross.
What?
Bing. Oh
Bing.
my god. Okay, I can't even look. I've just spoiled something for myself. How do I go back? I've got Project X Zone 1 and 2. Oh my god. Basically, mate, my mind's just fucking blown.
Old people and computers, we understand.
So yeah, mate, I got Project X Zone 1 and 2, and
What is it?
I'll tell you now. So this is it. So this will be how we end the episode today, right? So I turned on the 3DS and I got Project X Zone on there. I'm like, oh, that looks intriguing. Sounds, Japanesey. Sounds like something I would like. Cool. And I know the kiddie that I got it from, likes a lot of the shit I like games wise. So
yeah.
And the funny thing is as well, like, I'm looking through some of the, he's got like previous save files on there, and like the characters he's created, it's like I would so create that character. This guy knows. So basically, I've turned Project X Zone on, and like it's kicking on, it's turning on, and all of a sudden, like Capcom comes up, and Bandai Namco, and Sega, and I'm like, oh, this is promising. And then all of a sudden, fucking, oh, I recognize that character from Tekken. Oh, I recognize that character from Virtua Fighter. That's Ryu and Ken. That's fucking Mega Man. That's fucking everyone like it. That's Jill Valentine's there. The Resident Evil. The guy from Dead Rising. Oh, the other guy from the shooting game from the 80s, Capcom Arcade, that is basically just Bruce Willis, but in Japanese form. Like, this game is mad. Like, when he hits a move, he comes out and one of his guy's special moves, like Bruno something, he comes in with a grandfather clock, smashes him, it explodes, and as he dives off screen, all his clothes rip off, and he's just like in a vest and jeans, like Die Hard, like doing the Die Hard pose. The game is out of its mind. It's a tactical XCOM style, like isometric top-down tactical game. But when you actually go in for the combinations, it's to take on a 2D fighting game where you do input certain moves to get bonus attacks. That look like the game is out of this world crazy. Okay, and I was just sort of caught wind of a few. So I'm looking at all these crazy characters, and I'm blowing my mind. And I've got Project X Zone 2. So I'm like, I'm not even going to look at that because I want that to all be a surprise when I first turn it on and see all these new characters. And there was one.
Go on.
There's one character who just stood out to me from Project X Zone 2. It's Rio from Shenmue. I'm like, oh my fucking god, they got Rio from Shenmue. Like, crazy things. Like, this game is so wild.
Are they Japanese? Yes. All right, we'll have them.
Yeah, basically. Well, no, because it's Japanese, Sega, and Bandai. So, like, there was once upon a time I was going to get a game called Project Justice. Sick game. Sick. It's Capcom, it's a fighting game. Rival schools, Project Justice. The storyline is just about different schools that fight each other and they're all wacky and crazy. They're on there, you know. Oh, I just love it. So yeah, I was going to look at some pictures of Project X Zone, but I don't want it now because it will spoil for me surprises that are coming down the line. But my God, what a time to be alive.
You seem to have a problem with either watching or playing really old things and struggling to avoid spoilers.
It's funny that, isn't it? I've avoided spoilers, but like, isn't that funny? Yes, it's like I've avoided spoilers for God knows how many years this game's been out. I don't think this game's that old. I would look at the date it came out, but I don't want to because I don't want to risk looking at my spoilers. Project X Zone. Have a look. Google it for me. Project X Zone.
I'm literally
Yeah.
halfway through.
See what year it came out.
Did I happen to see the lawyer from that lawyering game?
Yeah, Ace Attorney. Actually,
That's the one.
is he in it? I think he is.
I saw someone
Yeah, he is.
reminded me.
It's Capcom. I think that's Capcom. Is Ace Attorney Capcom?
Project X released 2012.
Oh, okay. Ah.
And
Well,
X Zone 2 doesn't say.
Ace Attorney is.
There he is. Yeah, it's that very blue suited pose. Yeah, he's very recognizable. Was that Seto Kaiba? I'm sure I just saw Seto Kaiba.
Like Kaiba. I don't know. Well, put it this way as well. I've also got Ace Attorney 1 and 2.
Of course you do.
But yeah, I think it's been a good podcast. We've got bets. Is that what you were going to say?
I think it's the same as last week, isn't it?
It's always going to be the same until we want to make it more interesting. What is
That's
the
what I
state of play? What's the state of play? How many views do we have on Default Tangent episode 7?
4.
So
One of which is you. So we've had 3 people watch because I didn't watch this one.
okay, nice. Thank you, 3 people. Thank you. We're on the up. We've tripled it. What happened was we got the hype out. We've gone down a little bit in viewing, but doesn't matter. We love it, and then we'll
keep going.
Keep it up. But we appreciate all the views. Thank you very much, everyone.
Also, quick shout out for the bet because fuck you. This is also for you as well if you like Hitman. There's a guy who does Let's Plays with Hitman.
Okay.
But he's fucking hilarious. He's kind of stopped, but he's got quite a few archived old ones, and he's called the Aussie Gamer.
Oh, I've heard of the Aussie Gamer. Yeah.
Fucking hilarious.
But you didn't do this properly because you won the bet. Basically, you said 8, I said 20. So you won the bet. So that this is your shout out. So you didn't present your shout out nicely. It was scrappy.
Anyway, yeah, he's good fun. He's I've watched his videos multiple times because they're just really good fun. Also, if you actually want a walkthrough for like a perfect score, they do that too.
Okay, so they do serious gaming stuff as well.
Well, what he'll do is he'll give you a proper playthrough, but he will also say, well, whilst we set this up, let's see how else we can kill him. And then just blows him up, drowns him, kills him, and then cuts back to his real video. So it'll be one level with a step-by-step process, but cut in between that is hilarious moments.
Sounds good. Good shout out.
Also voiceover characters in the game. So
that's the stuff I've seen. That's the stuff.
Imitating voice. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Cool. All right. Well, this has been episode 8, I believe. I have been Leon C. I can't remember which way to go. This has been Chris P. And because I'm in the top right-hand corner on the way I sit now, I don't even know if that.
You're on my bottom right-hand corner, so God knows what's going on.
That changed actually because now I've stopped sharing and I'm on top and you're below. So who knows? But anyway, that has been episode 8. We will be back for episode 9. Did we want to do a bet for next week? We want to put the numbers on?
Yeah, I think we're gonna go up a bit. I want to say 9.
Very positive. I'm gonna be reserved and go down a little bit, and I'm gonna say 19.
Okay, I thought you meant down below mine, but okay.
Oh no.
Hey,
actually,
it might be 200.
Well, yeah, innit? You know, the moment I change.
Think positive.
The moment I change. So, just making a note of the bets so that we know they're saved. So 19 for moi.
19 and 9.
9 for Christoph. Okay, so peace out, everyone. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Wave to the camera.